moving in these streets without being noticed. In my cup, not talking Folgers.
Kanye West, now Ye, was not the only person wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt at the Paris Fashion Week. His friend and our friend Candace Owens was standing right next to him. So we asked West what that whole thing was like, and here's what he told us.
The more and more I lean into God and work for God, the more wins God is going to bestow on our team, on Jesus Gang. And for me to go out and just state an obvious and empathetic statement in the middle of the most liberal central, like to go, that was like Tiananmen Square or something, right? I was like, with Candace Owens, and we both wore the shirt at the same time. You know, we got some Jesus soldiers out here, and people say they're willing to die for it, but we live for it. We're living for the battle. And what's the battle for? Life itself, our children.
Like Tiananmen Square, Ye West, Candace Owens standing there in front of the tank, which is international media. Candace Owens is the host of the podcast Candace, and she joins us tonight. Candace, thanks so much for coming on. So why did you do that? You did it together. And what do you think of the response? Why can't you do that?
Well, I just want to say it was one of the only weeks that I missed doing your show. And the only reason I would miss doing your show, Tucker, is because I knew that there was a cultural moment that would be so significant as this was. You know, I did it because Kanye called me and he said that he needed me to be there at the show and he needed me to be a part of the show. And when he told me what he had in mind and wearing these T-shirts, which, by the way, he told me the day of, I instantly understood what he was trying to do and what the artistic expression was. What it offered was a stunning commentary on the hypocrisy of the society that we live in. For years, we were told that Black Lives Matter was not an exclusionary phrase. We were told that it's just what we're saying. We're not trying to leave white people out, right? We're just saying this because this is a moment that Black Americans need to have in this country. They were totally fine when Asian Lives Matter became a slogan as well. Asians, by the way, are doing better in this country economically than white Americans. They're more successful in education as well, and they're more likely to get credit cards, as just one example. And yet, despite all of that, it was okay to say Asian Lives Matter. We put on a T-shirt to actually do something that was inclusive, to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. And in fact, no lives have been mattering. Black Americans are suffering as a result because of Black Lives Matter. We know that their neighborhoods have been rioted in inner city communities and the businesses are moving out of there. The result of Black Lives Matter has been white supremacy, assuming that Black Americans were stupid and emotional and would loot and riot their own communities to fulfill a false narrative about policing. And so we got to say all of that by wearing one T-shirt.
It's just so interesting. I mean, if you're triggered, as they say, by a shirt like that, no one who is mad about it ever seemed to ask, like, why? What if it said Malaysian Lives Matter or you know, anybody? You would, a normal person would say, well, of course, all lives matter, but like, why does this make them so mad? It's weird and dark.
It makes them so mad because there is actually in this country a hatred toward white people. It is undeniable. The worst thing that you can be in this country, far from what they're telling you, I would say two things. First and foremost, a black child in the womb of its mother. That is the most unsafe place for a black child to be. The second thing is a white straight male, right? Because they perceive that as being too normal, right? It's too normal for you to be a white straight male. You need to make yourself somehow problematized by saying that you're trans, that you're suffering, that you're gay, that you're Hispanic, that you have a biracial mother, something. People are dying to say that they're anything but being white. And again, that is the commentary that we offered by wearing these shirts. You actually cannot, right now, today on TikTok, you cannot use the hashtag White Lives Matter because they say that it inspires hatred. And in fact, banning the hashtag White Lives Matter is what inspires hatred. The saddest part of this, Tucker, which I want to add, is that after wearing the shirt and getting back here down in Tennessee, I went to a farmer's market, and I had white people coming up to me with tears in their eyes. And I told Kanye this, with tears in their eyes, saying, thank you so much, as if they're the forgotten people, for just allowing us to have our voices back. They've been sitting in silence, completely sidelined, told that they are not allowed to be American because there's a vicious narrative around that somehow black Americans are suffering from policing and therefore white lives can't matter. They do. It's obvious. Kanye was correct.